So here are the United Nations Millennium Development Goal. Yeah, Millennium. So it has been 20 years, and then it's similar to when you are a baby, and then the Millennium Goal here, and up to now, up to 20 years, it haven't been 100% finished. Okay, but still, there are lots of the area has been improved. Although when you reading this 8 Millennium Goal, and then there are nothing related to ICT, but ICT could help this kind of goal, and then let us with some of them and see how the ICT can be achieved or how to improve the Millennium Goal. And also for the goal one, for example, how to improve the hunger and also the poor, okay, extreme poor. So in fact, the ICT award really have to improve the situations of the poor. So for a easy understanding, I use Taobao as an example, okay, Taobao. So Taobao, you think that yeah, it's from the China market, and then it helps the people in Hong Kong to buy the cheap goods in a really cheap price, right? But you can imagine that there are lots of village in Taobao in China. They are using Taobao to improve their life, okay, to improve their quality of life, okay. So you have heard that in China there are lots of the village. They will set up some small business, and then they will prepare some uh, handcraft of art craft. Okay, so they are called art craft peoples, and then now the art craft here can be directly sells to the customer. Okay, directly sells to the customer. That's why they need not to use the middleman, and then they can direct communicate with the customer. And then Taobao is acceptable. I will say the transaction fee of Taobao is acceptable, and then it will improve the living conditions of China, especially about the poor rich. So this is how the ICT can help the one of the Millennium goal to improve the situations of the poor. And other things you will think that something like the Uber Eats or something like the Food Panda in China, they also have this kinds of technologies. They also have the food delivery or some of the delivery service. And this delivery service, again, it helps lots of the people to improve their life. Again, this is how the ICT can be done can be helped to improve the Millennium goal. Similar in Hong Kong, right? So you have the Food Panda and you have the delivery, etc. Right? And during the COVID-19, it really helps the other peoples, and then especially about the unemployment or underemployment, right? To earn their basic living. Okay, but some of them say that they can earn up to 30,000 per month. So this is quite incredible, right? So ICT also contributes to the Millennium Development Goal. The most important thing is when you have the ICT, you are able to connect with each other, so you are able to exchange the information. You are able to improve your life, to improve your lifestyle, to improve your living style by get new information. So for the development, one of the best indicator is how you can connect with the world outside. So for the Millennium Development Goals, so there are different targets. For example, they want to make a good use of the new technologies, especially for the information and communications. Okay, so there are different indicators. For example, 47 and 48. So they want the telephone, and then they want the computer. In fact, for the poor or for the hunger, it's really difficult to solve. But for the this kind of indicator, it is possible to solve it. So according to the data of United Nations, so for the 2G, okay, it's pretty old, but you can still use the telephone to communicate with each other. For a 2G mobile phone, starting from 2001 is only 58%, up to 2015 is already 95%. That means nearly all the people in our world, they can connect, they can communicate with each other by using the mobile phone. Again, another one is about the internet user. That we have discussed the internet user in our previous slide, right? So in 2000, it's only 6%, okay? But now in 2015, almost 43, okay? So it's a exponentially increasement about using the network, getting the information, and then communicate with each other. So here we have a small questions for you, and then it's about the goes to it's about the educations, okay, and of course it's about the gender equality. So in Africa, for example, Rwanda, so there are lots of the school or university, they do not have enough teaching materials. Okay, so they do not have books, they do not have um, um, important or up-to-date teaching materials or teaching and learning materials. Okay, so ICT can do a lot of things. So before the ICT, so somehow the peoples here in the Western country, they will collect the logs. Okay, they will collect the logs. There are lots of logs, and then just like you, right? So you have lots of the printout, and after the examination, most of you guys will just follow the printout, right? So what can they do, or what can the education can be improved in Africa? So some of the university, they will collect the printouts, okay? They will collect the printouts after the examinations, and then send this printout to the University of Africa, so that their teacher and learning material is up to date, and then they can enjoy the education of the Western, okay, of the Western. So I will not say that this one is perfect, okay? So it's not perfect, yeah, it's not perfect, but somehow it can help the situations. Now you are studying technologies beyond border, and then you are thinking how to use the ICT, okay, how to use the ICT to help this kind of people in Africa, okay? So sending the printout or hard copy, it creates lots of environmental problems, for example, the digital footprint, etc. So can you use the ICT? Okay, can you use the ICT to improve these situations? Okay, or how we can send the teacher and learning materials to the Africa without a, how to say that, without increasing the high digital footprint. Okay. So I will give you 15 minutes to do it, so you can pause the videos and then think about your solutions. But bear into your mind, so you need to consider the situations of Africa. So we have mentioned before, the internet rate or the internet visual rate is below 50. Okay, it's below 50. Some of the country in the Middle Africa studies around 10 or below 20, something like that. Okay, so you need to, when you are thinking the ICT solutions, okay, ICT solutions, you need to think about the infrastructure of the people in Africa. Okay, so around 15 minutes, so you can pause the videos and then think 15 minutes how we can improve. News on the Millennium Development Goal. Okay, so Millennium, right, is year 2000, so almost 20 years. Okay, more than 20 years. Okay, so after 20 years, Millennium Goals, of course, not all the Millennium we can solve or we can achieve, or I will say that nearly all the Millennium Goals we can't solve or we can't achieve. For example, zero hunger or zero poverty is not realistic to let all the people escape from the poor or escape from the hunger. Okay, but the situation is greatly improved. Okay, so the United Nations, they try to give a conclusions about Millennium Goals. Okay, so they have a report about Millennium Goals at the end of 2016. Okay, and then after the Millennium Goals, so they have design and other development goals. It's called 17 Sustainable Development Goal (SDG). Okay, and they will try to achieve the goals for the next 15 years. Okay, so similar to the Millennium Goal, the SDG is Sustainable Development Goals. So it also contains lots of the area that ICT, communication technologies, can be improved. For example, they want to promote the equal education, quality educations, okay, and then the lifelong learning opportunity to all of us, okay. So one of the possibility is using the ICT technologies, okay, and then deliver the knowledge, deliver the vocational training, or deliver higher education to those small islands or developing country, okay. So it's possible, and then we are doing in hopes that we can improve the education. So if we can improve the education, that means it helps to improve the poor and it helps to improve the hunger. And then empower all the women and girls. Okay, I know it's a very sensitive, complicated topic in this field date. But honestly, by using the ICT, information technologies, communication technologies, we can share the information. Okay, whatever you are in the Southeast Asia or South Asia or even the Middle East Asia. Okay, the Middle Asia. Okay. So we are possible to help the girls. We are possible to provide education or empower all the women and girls by using the ICT technologies, by deliver the message and then help them to exchange their feelings or exchange their thinkings with us. Yeah, and then to build the infrastructure. So again, the most important thing is connect each other by using the internet. Okay, to all the developing country. And then if we can connect each other by using the internet, and then we can share the knowledge, definitely we can share lots of the useful information. So have you paused the video and then think for 15 minutes? If yes, then let's discuss the answer. So I will not use the case of Africa, I will use the case of India and then discuss the situation. In fact, the Indians, they have the similar situations. They have larger populations and then the GDP is not really high, and then the urbanizations and is not really good. And then there are still lots of poor peoples, and then lots of the people in India, they cannot enjoy the PC, personal computer, they cannot enjoy the computer, and then they cannot enjoy the internet, enjoy the . So what you should do, so the first of all, you should think about the situations. Okay, so if they do not have the PC, if they do not have the internet, so what should you do? So some people will say that some of the Western people, because they do not have the concept about the India or Africa, they will say pinning the pin out to this area is the most direct and then the most useful method to improve their education. But in fact, it's not so worse, right? So they are not cavemen. So somehow they have the basic, at least they have the electricity. There are still some area they do not have the electricity, but there are lots of the area they have the electricity, and then they have TV. Okay, they have TV. Okay, and somehow if they cannot offer for the PC, but still they can have the DVD or the Blu-ray. Okay, or the Blu-ray player. So it's similar to the how to say that? It's similar to the family in Hong Kong around 1980. Okay, around 1970 to 1980. You have the TV, you have the recorder. Okay, you have the recorder. You can enjoy some of the video playback, something like that. Okay, so if they have the TV and then they have the DVD, so it provides another way to distribute the education. So somehow you can make a good use of DVD. So some of the people may say that, oh, it's good. So somehow I can video record all the information and then send to the school in Africa and India. But you will think you need to think a lot of the problems. The first of the problem is although if DVD or VCD, so the length or the time that they be carried inside the DVD or VCD is limited. Okay, so most likely is 1 or 2 hours, less than a lecture, 3-hour lecture, right? So if you want to bring back all the information to them, so you need a huge lots of the DVD and then send to them, then they need to pay one by one, and then they need to follow, okay? And reading the videos is not quite effective. Maybe yeah, although they are speaking English, but there are lots of problems. You cannot clearly understand the English that they are using, something like that, okay? So what is the project of I'm going to talk about is called the Wikipedia, okay, India Wikipedia. So what's going on? So somehow they turn the information into a forms just like the Wikipedia, and then using the menu function or index function of DVD. So somehow using the menu function or index function of DVD, so you can use your remote and then use your up, right, left, down, and then select and then back. Yeah, you can use this kind of function and then select the information that you want, and then you can also type in the information and then perform the search, okay? And one DVD can carry lots of the tasks and image information and then send back, okay? So that's how, for example, they can carry a whole subject, or even more than a whole subject. They can carry the for example, the whole program, okay, the whole academic program in one DVD and then send to Africa or send to the India, and then let them to use or let them to learn. So this is one of the good use of the ICT, and then perform the community project, okay? So this the demonstration about India Wikipedia. So you see this one is the index page, and then you can use your DVD remote and then select for the topic, okay? For example, you can search, you can use the subject search, you can use the title search, etc. And then you can use the remote to type in some informations, and somehow you can use the up, right, left time to set the information that you want. So this is called the India Wikipedia, and then let lots of the people, just if you have the TV and then if you have the DVD player, you can enjoy the educations, and the amount is huge, and then you can enjoy lots of the information, although the information is not up to date, okay, because you that burn into a DVD. So there is a certain timestamp, and then after this certain timestamp, you cannot you cannot update your information, but it's still very useful to let lots of the women when they are staying in their home and then learn about the informations. And other possible ways for Africa or for India is if they do not have the TV and if they do not have the DVD, so what should they do? So somehow, although they do not have the TV or although they do not have the DVD, so somehow at least they have the telephone. Okay, they have the telephone. So what can you do? So you can use the voice-based social media, okay, or voice-based Wikipedia. So somehow it's similar to your customer service of your credit card or bank service, okay? So you dial the call and then you wait for the answer, and then there are menu types. So if you want to select the service A, you press the 1, service B, you press 2, service C, you press 3, etc., etc., etc. And it can also include those speed recognitions, okay? So later on, we can show you a technologies about its latest technologies about the Google, about the natural language processing. So it's called dialogue fold, okay, dialogue fold. So they can recognize the speech of the human and then generate the voice, okay? So if this one is combined with the Wikipedia or with the other things, so the people in Africa or in India, we just need to find a server, install the latest technologies of Google, of the machine learning, of the AI, and then perform the NLP, perform the speech recognitions, and then we can let the country, the poor country, the people in the poor country, so or poor people in the country, okay, and they can enjoy the social media, and then they can enjoy the search by using the telephone, just a simple telephone. Okay, so they do not need any PC, they do not need any internet, and then still they can enjoy the information. Okay. And for the goals to promote, okay, or to say that the educations about AIDS or about the HIV or other educations of disease, ICT can help to do it. Okay, so they need to be educated so that they can escape from some disease, and then they can know the correct way to protect themselves. Okay, so ICT, whatever is using the telemedicine or tele-rehab. Okay, for example, telephones, or for example, the internet, they can receive the correct information. Okay, and then they can ask for help. Okay, so yeah, for this year we will focus on the goal 7, ensure the environmental sustainability. So we will try to yeah, connect with the OFCA, to connect with the ocean part, and then they will provide the information about how the environments can be protected, how different animal, for example, this one, horseshoe crabs can be protected, and then you are going to analyze the information and then promote the information through the ICT tools, okay, through the Zoom, through the 360-degree videos, and then that you know what's going on, and then let the others know what's going on. You capture some information and then help the community to aware the environmental sustainability. So this year we will do for this topic. And don't think that your community project is useless. So as I explained, so in the very beginning, so if you have developed a good community project, so you can go for the 2 ways. The first is you find the funding. Okay, you find the funding and then support your new idea or new project. Okay, so today is easy. It's easy to get the funding from lots of the company or lots of the organization. For example, in PolyU, you have microfund, you have good seats to do some community project, and then it's easy to get maybe 10 or 50 thousand, and then achieve your social project. And another, yeah, for the talking about this way first. So beside the Hong Kong level, so you can ask for the global levels. Okay, so somehow EU every year they have approved lots of counts by millions. Okay, counts by each project is count by millions. They have approved lots of the project if you can solve the digital inclusions. Okay, so so the digital inclusions, well, for example, you target on the visual impaired people. So we will talk about another example about the blind, about the visual impaired people. Somehow they may not be blind, but they have lots of different problems. We'll discuss in the next lecture. Or hearing impaired people, they have some problem about their hearing, or yeah, some functional disability or cognitive disability, okay, or web accessibility or other accessibility. Okay, so this is all about the digital inclusions and all about the social inclusions, and it's easy funded by the EU. But if you can care those people, it's easy to get a funding about millions. Okay, this is one of the ways you can do it. Another way is today when you go to some big company, there are lots of commercial projects. There are lots of community projects. So if you think good social needs, and then if you have a good model to measure your achievement, so somehow for example, Microsoft, right? So some of our graduates, they go to Microsoft, the first project that they need to do is some community project. For example, they care the environmental friendly, they care the quality of the tree, etc. Okay, so it's really promising, and then you can extend your work about your about your surface learning. Okay, so we would like to introduce one initiative called Be My Eyes. Okay, Be My Eyes. So this initiative is for the VIP, visual impairment people, or you can say it's blind people, but in fact, visual impaired people, they are not 100% blind. Okay, so somehow they are maybe weak in seeing, and then they have glaucoma or the other problems about their eyes. Okay, so whatever, they have some problem about their eyes. Okay, so for the ICT, of course, you can think lots of the way to help them. Okay, so you can use the computer vision. So later on, I will show in our but I will include in our videos how Microsoft use the computer visions, how Microsoft use the AI to recognize the object, okay, and then use the captions to talk what's going on, and then to explain the scene situations to the VIP peoples, okay, virtual impaired peoples. But before we have the comparison, before we have the AI, so Be My Eyes is a good application, okay? It's a good application, it's crowdsourcing applications, and then it's funded by the EU for the blind people to ask for assistance from the sighted user. Okay. So what's going on here? Let me explain a little bit. So today, all of we guys have the iPhone, right? So don't think that iPhone is the blind people cannot use the iPhone. In fact, near 80% or 90% of the blind people, they use the smartphone. And because the smartphone, they have lots of assistant tools, okay, so they have voice over functions, and then they have lots of the functions. So even the blind people cannot see the retina display or cannot see the screen of the smartphone. The voice over or the computation power smartphone is really useful to them, especially about GPS or the other community service. And I've met some blind people. One of the blind people he's high educated, and he used the smartphone to buy and sell the stock. Okay, so yeah, so you can immerse on a blind people and then earn the money, earn his living from the stock market by using a smartphone. It's really funny, right? Yeah, all of the blind people, they have the smartphone, and then nearly, I remember, 60 or 70% of the blind people, the model of the smartphone is using the Apple, not the Samsung. Because Apple, the assistant tools is better, is easier for the blind people to use. Okay, so whatever. So the smartphone, they have lots of the function, and the most important function is about the camera. Okay, it's about the camera or video conferencing. So what's going on in this lab? So the idea is really simple. They use the camera, they use the video conferencing to connect the blind people with the normal people. Okay, so when they need help, they just use the app and then call one of the volunteer. And one of the volunteer, if they receive the call, so they will turn on, both of the blind people will turn on the camera and then do the video conferencing, so that you can ask, so what is the color of the courses today, of my selected courses today, or what is the number of the bus coming, or why in the bus stop, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so this one is really funny, and we use for application, so without using really high technologies, right? And then they can achieve the needs, and 100% achieve the needs of the blind people. In fact, I'm also one of the volunteer of this program. So, exactly, remember, up to now they have 2 million of volunteer, because it's easy. So we just install the apps, and then we just wait for the call, and then if someone is asking for your help, you just help the blind people, and then just answer some simple questions from them, and it really helps them to aware the dangers, or to help their daily life. Yes, and then other initiative, OLPC, one laptop per child. Okay, one laptop per child. So what is this meaning? That means that want to prepare some hardware together with the software, together with the content inside. Okay, so they prepare they have the keyboard, they have the mouse, they have the hard disk, and then they have all the information that they need for the children. They are fully embedded inside the system. The target cost is US 100. Okay, so now is because the computer cost is really low, so can be achieved now, and then lots of the company, they start to join this laptop program, and then provide this kind of hardware and software and education materials together for the children in the poor country or developed country. Yeah, and then for our school, we also have lots of internal, external or international projects. For example, this one. So because it's not easy to connect the Wi-Fi to the ridge and then connect the Wi-Fi to provide the Wi-Fi to provide the internet to the village. So somehow we have developed some package. Okay, we have developed some package together with the teaching and learning materials, and then send to the children in the developing country. So if you are interested in this one, so you can search for such project, surface learning project, international surface learning project. So you can find lots of this kind of solutions. And yeah, not only about the education, we can also use the ICT to handle about the transaction problem. For example, we can use the bot chain. Okay, we can use the bot chain, and then we can skip the middleman, and then help the service provider to direct contact with the service receiver. Okay, for example, if I'm the farmer in Bashir, or I'm the farmer in the Africa, I want to sell the coffee, etc. Right? So now I can directly sell to the end user. For example, end user in Hong Kong, and then all the certification and then all the transaction is handled by the blockchain. Okay, it's handled by the blockchain, and then we can skip the transaction fee of the banking, and then skip the transaction fee of all the middleman. Okay, so this video I will also put into our backboard, and then let you have a look. So yeah, situation in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong primary school under the pandemic. So 2020 and 2021 and so on, the situation is improved, but it's not very good. So the problem in Hong Kong, we are the longest time that the student cannot back to school and enjoy the school life or normal school life. So compare with China, or compare with the other Western country, for example, United States or UK, United Kingdom, or other parts. So our students cannot fully enjoy the education, normal educations. Okay, still, or up to now, 2021, so they can only have half days about their school educations. And then of course, most of them goes online. Okay, so they need to study, and then they need to log down at home. Okay, and then even when they go to school, so all the interactions is limited. Okay, all the interactions are limited, so they cannot do lots of the things in the school. They cannot have lots of the extra activities. Okay, so lots of the lab or lots of the activity are suspended. As a result, there is no hands-on experience. Okay, no hands-on experience, or there is no practice for all the academic knowledge. Okay, so it's pretty bad. Okay, it's bad, especially for those primary school, and also for the special education need. Okay, so they cannot easily observe or observe the result and then absorb the knowledge from the textbook. Okay, most of the children's, and then especially with the ICN, ADSD, dyslexia, they cannot absorb the knowledge from the textbook or from the videos or from the other passive learning. So they need hands-on experience, but now they cannot enjoy this kind of hands-on experience, and then it really hurts their learning. So if you have heard, the learnings belongs to two parts: active and also passive. Okay, passive. Passive means reading textbook, reading materials, watching videos, or classroom teaching or online teaching. Okay, so all these kind of things belong to the passive learning. Okay, so the teacher in Hong Kong, they did pretty good. Okay, within a short time, they can transform all the teaching into online, or they can limit their teaching into a virtual teaching very well. Okay, so the passive part, Hong Kong teacher, they did really good. But if you're looking at the whole part of the learning, the active learning, okay, is missing. Okay, active learning means that you need to say and do, or you need to say and write. Okay, so it means that you need to have some hands-on experience. You need to have some project. You need to have some presentations, role play, field study, etc. Okay, so in our university, so we provide you the project, we provide you the some hands-on experience. So you are not only reading the YouTube videos. You are not only watching the YouTube videos and reading the task book. So you need to learn the knowledge and then apply and then do it and then present to us. Okay, so this is a complete cycle of your learning. And then yeah, within the this time of pandemic, so all this kind of active learning, they are missing. Okay, so students find that it's hard to engage. Okay, and then they are hard to motivate by such kind of passive learning. Okay, so yeah, we find the gap between the passive and then active learning. So in your service learning project, you are going to solve this kind of problem. So similar research you can find on the internet, and then you try to prove the situations of Hong Kong is not as good as we think. Okay, especially about the ASEAN student. Okay, so 80% of the student, okay, children in Hong Kong, they feel boring. Yeah, we also feel boring during the pandemic. More than 60% of students, they feel worse. Okay, and then it goes yeah, the worst case is 10% of the student, they feel hopeless. Life is hopeless. Okay, lots of the children, they, especially the ASEAN student, they are bipolar, so they will autism, or they will become so emotional at home. They most of the time they will spend on playing the video games or watching the cartoons on YouTube or on Disney Junior, etc. At the very beginning, they are happy about the vocation, and then they feel that they really want to go back to school and then enjoy the school life and then enjoy the interaction with the other children. And finally, they have low feelings. So that is the situation. And definitely, you can find lots of different kinds of reports on the internet. Okay, so this one is the Society for Community Organizations. Okay, so-called. So not only about the SEN, special education needs student, so it also affects the student who is poor. Okay, so don't think that there are lots of the children, they have the computer at home. In fact, according to a survey, so there are 280 students, and then around 30% of students, they don't have a computer at home. Okay, maybe they have a mobile phone, maybe they have an iPad, or maybe they have an other electronic device. But is in fact for me, so before the pandemic, we do not have a computer, personal computer at home. We have notebook. Sometimes I will bring the notebook back to home. But most likely when I come back to home, I use my mobile phone or I use my tablet to enjoy the internet and enjoy the other cartoons or the other video game, etc. I do not have a computer at home. So using the mobile phone to study and then using the computer to study is two different kinds of things. Okay, so mobile phone, the resolution is really small, the screen is really small, and then you cannot do other things when you are watching the videos. So it will create difficulties. Okay, it will bring difficulty on your study. Okay, so of course yeah, during the pandemic I buy another PC and then I put it in my home, but lots of the family, they are not really rich. Okay, so it's hard for them to buy a PC for their children only for learning. So, as I have mentioned before, while Hong Kong school shutdown has been among the longest in the world, okay? Pandemic will affect more than 160 countries, and then 1.2 billion of students are affected by this kind of situations. And Hong Kong is one of the yeah, one of the city which shut down the school for a long time. Okay. So lots of the international schools, they promise that when the pandemic ends, they will have lots of different summer enrichment program, or somehow they will use Zoom or Teams or Google's to connect with the other native speaker. Okay, they use Zoom to have one-to-one virtual teaching communications with the people in the foreign country. So they will provide this kind of service for for the international school. They will provide this kind of service. Okay, so they have more opportunity for the social interactions. But how about the rest? Okay, okay. So that's why we have digital device. Okay, digital device for those who can use the PC, for those who know how to use the technologies, can benefit from during the pandemic. Okay, and school we seems is a fair and is a fair situation for all the students to study, but under the pandemic is not the case. And then even in Hong Kong, our ICT is already very good, but still you can see that there are lots of the problem. For example, over 50% of the students feel that their internet connection is too slow. Okay, okay. Some of the students, they do not have the internet connections. Okay, so they can only use their 4G or 4G or 5G level of their parents to do the online teaching or online learning. And then over 50% of students think that they do not have enough guidance. Okay, again, especially for the SEN student. So somehow using the Teams or using a Zoom to do the teaching is pretty bad. Okay, it's pretty bad. Okay, it's only one-way teaching. We cannot observe the reactions. We cannot have the interaction with the children. We cannot have the interaction with the students. So that's the problem. Yeah, and yeah, small problem, but they do not have the printer at home. Even me, I do not have a printer at home. Okay, and then around 40% of students, they feel it's too noisy. Okay, of course it's not school, right? So sometimes your parent maybe they're watching television, they're watching TV, so they are doing a lot of things. Maybe you have a younger sister or they will have a younger brother, and then they will always playing the toys, and then you can't focus during the online lessons. Yeah, so you can find lots of this kind of study, and then there are lots of this kind of report, and then state that yeah, we do have lots of the problems about the online teaching, and then it really kills the active learning. Okay, so if you want to study more about the situation in Hong Kong, so there are two video programs, so you can watch it.